Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Jack, and this is a question that I get asked a lot is, Jack, what's the cost of starting Amazon FBA business, especially in 2021? So I don't want this video to drag on too long. It's very basic, majority of these costs. So we're gonna run through some of them, at least the ones that I would recommend you start off with. And we're gonna get to a round up starting budget for what I'd recommend when starting selling, especially if you're living in Australia here in 2021. Okay, first thing, very first thing you're going to need is, you're gonna need a product to sell. And you're gonna need a way to find that product. Now, in order to do that, there are a couple of methods, or there's quite a lot of methods, but one of them is using product research software. Now, when it comes to Amazon Australia, especially Amazon Australia, there's not too many to choose from that are reliable. Now, myself and students in Ecom Excellence, if you don't know what Ecom Excellence is, go and check the link down below. It's a course designed for Aussies, how to sell on Amazon FBA. I'm not gonna talk about that in this video. But myself and my students used to use eGrow, and it was a decent software, but we found later on with time that it was quite inaccurate. And what we've come to learn is that there's actually a more accurate one that works for all marketplaces, including Amazon Australia, and that's called ZonGuru. It's just an all-round solid piece of software, very user-friendly, and it's got quite a good price point as well. So it's $39 per month. Now I say per month because that's what the cost is per month, but you can use it for basically the months that you're doing product research for. So if you only use it for a couple of weeks, just sign up for the month and you only pay $39 and it'll just work as a one-time fee. Very accurate in my opinion, but if you're looking to do some good product research with actual reliable sales numbers that actually pulls from the Amazon website, they're an actual third-party trusted piece of software from Amazon. So Amazon actually trusts this software, integrates with the website quite well. So I'd definitely go with ZonGuru. There are others that work for Amazon Australia, but this one by far has been the best in my experience. Next thing you're going to need is an Amazon seller account. So in order to sell products, you're going to need to create an account on Amazon. You can't just throw up a product without any identity. You need to actually make an account. There's one that's actually 99 cents per month, and that's the individual seller plan. But there are a lot of limitations, which I'll chuck up on the screen somewhere here. So I would go with the professional seller plan. Now, it might seem quite hefty at a price of $50 AUD per month, but it comes with a lot of extra added benefits, and essentially down the line, if you ship your product to an Amazon FBA warehouse, you're going to need that seller plan anyway, otherwise you can't do it. Next thing you're going to need is a barcode for your product. Anything that's sold on Amazon is going to need a barcode. There's a couple of different options for this. You can use a site called Barcodes Mania, which are about $7 or $8 a barcode, but I've recently been using another one called Barcodes Australia. They're about $75, so yes, the price point's a lot higher, but they are GS1 certified and you won't have any issues with them. I know with Barcodes Mania, even though they're GS1 certified, I haven't had any problems, neither of my students. The delivery times can be a bit up and down. It's like you can either get it straight away or you have to wait a day or two. Last time I ordered with them, I had to contact them and then they gave me my order, which you're not meant to do. Barcodes Australia sent me mine within 5 minutes, and it's all good to sell in Australia. I had no problems with theirs. So that's about $75 for a barcode there, and it's just a one-time fee. Now, you're also going to need a logo to put on your product. You can sell products on Amazon white labeled. I wouldn't recommend it. Now, white label just means without a brand or a logo, but I would recommend putting on your own logo. Now, for me, I'm pretty tech savvy, so usually I can make up a little simple logo myself, unless it's something that I solidify down the line. I want something touched up professionally. You can get it done professionally. You can go to a freelancer site. I'm going to say about $50 to make up a logo. It's not that expensive and it's just a one-time fee. So you can either do it yourself, or if you have no idea on what to do, I would just go onto a website like Fiverr or even Airtasker, maybe even Upwork, usually around the $50 mark. Now here's where the main bulk of your investment is going to come to, and that's from purchasing your product. Now, one thing to note as a seller in Australia, now in the US, it's going to be a little bit different, but in Australia, I'm going to talk just about Amazon Australia in this video. You have a limit of 100 units when you first start selling. That means you can send maximum of 100 units into the Amazon warehouse. It used to be 300, but as of recent, say as of about 6 months ago, they've actually reduced that, so new sellers only get 100 for normal size inventory and 100 for oversized inventory. So I usually recommend to try and fill up as much as possible, try and get as close to 100 units as possible in your first order, so you've actually got a decent amount of stock to start with. But you can do a lower amount if you really want to test a product out. Now, before I talk about your actual full product investment, you might want to get a sample done. Let's just say you found a product and you know what product you want to go for, you've got the whole design done up, you talk to your suppliers and whatnot, but you need to get a sample. Usually samples are around $50, and suppliers usually up this price because they usually have a minimum order quantity, and most of the time it's just to see that you are fully interested in it, and it's to save them the trouble of people just asking for a sample here and there and then just going and reselling. It's like you only have to purchase one product from them. So most of the time for a normal standard small size product, that you would generally sell when first starting on Amazon, it's around $50. So you can start with a smaller order, say if you want to do 10 to 15 units. Where you're going to run into trouble with that is most of the suppliers have a minimum order quantity if you want to put your logo on there. Most of the time, minimum might be like 10 or 20 units, depending on the product, depending on the price. But a lot of the time, it's going to be like 100 units, sometimes even 1,000 units. A lot of times, I've seen 100 units, maybe on the lower side, 50 units of a minimum order quantity, so they can put your logo on there. If you try and order underneath that, they can give you the product, but they just can't put the logo on there for you. So this cost is going to widely vary on what kind of product it is, the suppliers you talk to, what you've negotiated with them. We're going to put on the very, very low side of this. So I'm going to say around $500 you can probably get away with on a decent order. Now on the high side of this, let's just say if you're getting around 100 units, it depends heavily on the size, the weight, what kind of product, how much it costs per unit. But I'm just going to say safe side around $3,000 on the high end of this. You want somewhere around the middle, say about $1,500. Now this part really depends on how much you have for yourself set as a budget. Most of the time, if you have more to invest, then it is better because you can get more put into your product, more work done on it, more units set up, and just give yourself a more overall better budget to start off with. And it's almost like giving yourself a head start. Now in saying that, I don't recommend to put all your savings into it or just to put basically whatever you have into Amazon FBA and just put in the amount that you're comfortable with, but we'll quickly go over the total investment right at the end. And here's a few extras that you might consider as well when first starting your Amazon business. You could get involved in course or learning material. Now there's no figure on this because it depends on where you're going, whether you're getting mentoring, whether you get into a course, whether you buy a book, it could be anything. Then you've also got advertising. Advertising is going to be a big one once you start getting into the selling game on Amazon. Majority of the time, it might be Amazon PPC. Now, PPC is the pay-per-click advertising system that is on Amazon's platform that you can use, and you can just basically choose keywords. And saying choosing keywords is a very, very tiny example of what you can actually do, and that's very, very vast what you can do with Amazon PPC. But basically, what you're doing is choosing keywords and making bids and placing your budget for how much you want to spend per day. So advertising is another one. Also, there's stuff like Google AdWords and Facebook ads that you can use as well. And then you've got stuff that I'm not going to talk about in this video, but business setup. I would start only worrying more so about this once you've got your full structure, your product that you want to sell, everything set into place before you start worrying too much about your whole business structure. This could be stuff like company, could be stuff like if you're applying for a patent or even a trademark, anything like that. What I would say is just get started with an ABN. Very, very simple way to split what you're doing, whether you're working or whether you're doing something else, another side hustle, split your Amazon FBA business there so you can just have everything separate. It does make things easier when you're looking at finances and then when it comes to tax time as well, if you do get to that point. Okay, like I said, this is gonna be a pretty short video. So the total investment if you're looking to start Amazon FBA business in 2021, most likely going to be anywhere from about $1,200 to $3,000. Now, this is a very wide range. You can go below or over what I've recommended here. This is just going by my own personal experiences and from teaching people as well. This is around the range that people usually start with. Now, I've personally had students start with around $1,000. I've had students start with $6,000 and over. So it really depends on what your budget is, again, what product you're looking at. But this is a range that I'd say is pretty safe when you're first getting into it. So like I said, this is a pretty basic overview of the sort of costs that you're looking to get into. If you do have any questions about any extra sort of costs, or even if you're looking at things like taxes or you're looking at things like help with suppliers and whatnot, feel free to message me or send me an email. I've got everything down below, and comment on this video if you do have any other questions, because I'm more than happy to help. But I really do hope this video helped you out, because this is a question that I get asked a lot. So if you do have any other questions you want answered or you want me to make a video about, let me know. But apart from that, guys, I hope you guys are doing well. Stay safe. I'll see you guys in the next one.